This commentary video is brought to you by Butter Rum Eggnog because it is July in Maryland, which means we only have like 2 weeks of heat left and then we'll go back to the cold. So, yay.
To record, she gave hers. That was a fucking nightmare. It was really upsetting. I don't want it out there. I'm truly saying I hope she doesn't put it out there. It's not an enjoyable experience for either of us, that phone call. It's ugly. It's like, it was awful, dude. I had a lot of breakdowns in it because like I had to dig into some like really nasty shit that like,
Stop. Stop what you're doing. Yes, we are talking about Jessi Smiles' latest video that she actually just put out while I was actually listening to the full 3-hour phone call that Gabbie Hanna posted. But, like I already said, Jessi posted her video, so I kind of stopped everything I was doing. Twitter kind of stopped with everything they were doing because that's all I saw people were tweeting about. So I was like near the end. I was pretty much done. So I pretty much heard everything that Gabbie and Jessi had to say in that 3-hour phone call anyway. So some disclaimers. For any Gabbie fans that really want to come in my comments section and defend Gabbie Hanna after the things that she has lied about, been caught lying about, or if you're one of those Gabbie fans that lied about Dent and tried to get her fired from her job, this video is not for you. And if you hear any popping or anything while this video is going on, it is currently the 4th of July right now, so people have been popping fireworks since 12 noon today. So if you hear any popping, that's what it is. So please don't be alarmed for my safety. Thank you very much. What's trippy is how we went from Gabbie doing that to Jessi in her video today going,
and you're not afraid of me holding, dude, you're not afraid of me doing this because you think I might lie. She's afraid because she knows I know the truth and she knows that I have the evidence to back it up.
I'm afraid you know the truth? I don't even know what your truth is, if I'm being completely honest. And if I didn't want you to talk about my trauma, I should have left you alone. How about shut the fuck up about people's trauma? Period. You are so quick to tell people they can't speak about yours or situations that are sensitive to you, but someone else cannot ask you to stop lying, stop bringing a painful situation up to serve you. If you have an issue with me and things I've done to you, go ahead, Gabbie, bring it up. Talk about the time I almost punched you or whatever you want to do. That is fine. That's your story to tell. That involves both of us. Go for it. But for you to feel like you even have the fucking right at this point with how much you've lied about the situation, and then you're gonna have the audacity to tell me like, she's scared because I know the truth. Gabbie, you never speak the truth. Even when you speak your truth, it's like so easily disprovable because it doesn't even make any sense. I'm scared of the way that you deliver information in such an irresponsible, unempathetic, horrible way. That's what I'm scared of, Gabbie. Not the truth, your truth.
is all I needed to hear today. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Hey, what is up everybody? Yes, I returned to your phone, your computer, your TV, your tablet, your laptop. I don't know what you're watching me on this moment right now. But welcome back. It's me, it's Malcolm, and today I spent like 4+ hours of my life for this one video, and ooh, all I have to say is Jessi Smiles had her slam dunk moment. And if you don't know what that is, a slam dunk moment when it comes to like an issue between people or things like that is when somebody releases or shows proof or evidence that pretty much can't be refuted in any way, shape, or form. And in Jessi Smiles' 1-hour+ video, that's pretty much what happened. Everything Gabbie Hanna threw out there got debunked by Jessi Smiles. If you're a Gabbie fan and you still don't believe me, and if you're still defending Gabbie after all that information, you are an apologist. Point blank, period. You are an apologist just like Gabbie Hanna. So if you got insulted by that, you can exit the video stage left. Have a nice day. For everybody else, let's really talk. For those that are probably like, well, maybe Jessi started everything with Gabby, I'm gonna debunk that right now. Every time Jessi has talked about Gabby has been a response. The reason why Jessi Smiles a couple weeks ago released that 6-part Twitter video about the phone calls that her and Gabbie Hanna had was because of Buzzfeed. I was about to say something, I took it back. Just know, Buzzfeed kind of started this because they posted the article about Gabby, and also, I used to be a newspaper in high school, right? For 2 years. I was the layout editor one year, and then the next year I was co-editor-in-chief. And what I learned in high school is if you're interviewing someone and you bring up a subject, they have the right to say, I do not want to comment on this person or this event. That is something we all have learned in high school journalism if your school offers that. In this BuzzFeed article, Gabbie Hanna talks about Jessi Smiles, and Jessi Smiles, in response, released the videos. And I'm gonna pull up that quote right now where Gabbie Hanna basically says, I apologize to Jessi Smiles. Girl, you did not apologize to Jessi Smiles. I don't know what world you are living on, because even Jessi Smiles herself said, you took back the apology. Because Gabbie Hanna has this thing where she says, I'm sorry, but. I know I did you wrong, but. It's never Gabbie Hanna just fully accepting responsibility for what she did or said. It's always a but at the end, and that's honestly why so many people are so mad at Gabbie Hanna. That's why so many people want Gabbie Hanna to just say sorry to Jessi, which she will never do. Because at this point, Gabby's at the point of no return. Also, you see me on Twitter if you're from Twitter, so hello. But I really haven't made any videos on Gabbie Hanna's series because all of her episodes are pretty much, this is how this person did me wrong, I'm the victim. That is literally every video that she's posted so far. The only one where people are kind of like, okay, I see what she's saying, is the Rice Gum episode. That's literally like the only video where people are like, okay, I can maybe see Gabby's side. But other than that, every video she's posted, the people she's called out are like, hey, yeah, no, Gabby, you're lying. This is what really happened. And I think her jumping the shark, and I've already tweeted about this, so if you don't follow me on Twitter, follow me. I tweeted about how Gabbie Hanna jumped the shark by calling out the Escape the Night cast. And I'm gonna get to the Jessi video and the phone call shortly, but hear me out. Think about it this way. Gabbie Hanna called out a YouTube production and said they were terrible. Now, do you think YouTube's gonna let that slide, Gabby? I don't think so. And I pointed it out, Gabbie Hanna, besides posting on Instagram to promote her OnlyFans, she really has been kind of radio silent. She's gone on her Patreon, of course, because her fans pay for that, which I find it so trippy that you have to pay to talk to your favorite celebrity. Stan mentality, I guess. But besides that, Gabbie Hanna has really been quiet. And maybe this is just a theory, but I think someone from YouTube contacted her directly and said, you need to shut the F up. I could be wrong, but it's just kind of weird how once she called out a YouTube production pretty much in Escape the Night, which is pretty much Joey Graceffa's creation, that YouTube has a heavy influence in, it's kind of been silent. So why are we here today? We're here today because even after multiple times, and I really do mean multiple times, Gabbie Hanna posted videos about Jessi Smiles and her trauma yet again. So I think that would be a total of 5 videos about Jessi Smiles from Gabbie Hanna directly. Now in the phone call, her and Gabby have talked about how they indirectly talked about each other and all this stuff. But here's the thing. Gabbie Hanna really thinks that every tweet, every subtweet, Every liked tweet, every storytime video that didn't have a name attached was about her. Gabby, you are not that important in somebody's life that they make everything about you. I know you want to think everything's about you, but it's not. I don't know where you got that mentality from, but that's not realistic. I'm sorry. So, I do have some clips that I want to play for you from the phone calls. One, to give you a little bit of context to things I'm talking about, and two, you can actually just see how scary Gabbie Hanna truly is. So 25 minutes in, and Gabbie Hanna repeats this multiple times throughout the phone call, by the way. This is just the first time she said it. But around 25 minutes in, Gabbie Hanna kind of like pats herself on the back about how she does, pretty much how she's like, I don't want to see you, Jessi, and all this stuff. So I'm going to play that clip for you right now.
The thing is, Jessi, I don't want to see you at all. For the same reason that I didn't want to respond at all. Because and I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up your ass, because you know that I actually do have a heart and care about you and your family and people in general. You have a fucking son, Jessi. Like, I'm not trying to take food out of your kid's mouth. I'm not trying to have you fly back to Florida to do a court case when I know you moved to Georgia. Like, I don't want to do that.
But here's the thing. Gabby did respond. Gabby is the one that started all this. Gabby is the one that got caught lying. So Gabbie Hanna is really in her head like, well, I'm not trying to take food out of your kid's mouth because I'm a saint and I'm a good person, and that's why you should take my side. And it seems like the more this phone call went on, it sounded like Gabbie Hanna was more so annoyed that Jessi just wouldn't say, Gabby, you're right, and let it go. Jessi, who is rightfully defending herself, is like, no, Gabby, that's not how it went. This is how it went. And oh, by the way, and I find this funny, you can listen to the 3-hour phone call if you want to, or you can just take my word for it because I really have no reason to lie unless it's for $1 million. Throughout this entire phone call, I kid you not, Gabby would say something accusing Jessi of something, right? And Jessi would say, okay, what's the proof? Send me the proof. And Gabby's like, oh, well, I really don't remember, blah, blah, blah. Well, meanwhile, anytime Jessi had something to say to Gabby, she had proof to back it up. She had like a reference or like a video or a tweet to reference back to. But whenever Gabby was like, well, Jessi, you did this and then you said this, and then like, oh, it must have changed. I mean, if you want to listen to the 3-hour phone call yourself, but if you do, you're gonna need a lot of aspirin because hearing Gabby talk over somebody for 3 hours is like, it gave me a headache. So just take my word on that. Now, the next 2 hours, I'm not really gonna get into because it's really about everything that happened to Jessi and some things that happened to Gabby, which of course are not my place to talk about. It's only her place to talk about if she wants to talk about that one day. But around like near the end half of whatever this was, Gabby says this.
No, there's no game here. Make no mistake. There is no game. This is our lives.
Yeah.
Make no mistake.
Yeah.
So do not tell me, oh, this is a game, just like you told that person, oh, I want war. This is not a war or a game for me.
I didn't tell that. That's so fucking funny. She told me
Gabby,
she was.
I saw the screenshot.
Yeah,
girl.
that's not what I said. I said, okay, then I guess we have to fight this war or some shit like that. Oh my God. The fact that you're talking about right now is so fucking funny.
I saw video, so don't get too excited about whether we talk shit about you or not. Literally, this is the truth. You're me, like, what you think I lied about in my video, you literally said, I cannot in good conscience say I never said that. Now you're retracting that.
Because I did not want to call you a liar.
Oh, but you did in those messages. Like, when did you
Private,
have trouble calling me a liar?
Private messages are not public statements. They are not the same, and there is a very clear difference.
Where's that energy now?
This energy now, Jessi, is because I waited and didn't say anything, and I said, I'm going to let this go away, and then the week I'm dropping an EP, you did this again. That's where the energy is. Like, ignoring it does not do anything for me.
This is gaslighting. This is trying to interpret what it means to call somebody a liar. In private, Gabby says all these things. But if she doesn't say it in public, it's not true. What? No, seriously. I want to laugh at Gabby so bad because she really thought that was like a aha, I got you moment. Just because you say something in private does not mean it's not true. I don't get that part. So according to Gabby, and the way she said it is just like this. I can say the most vile, I can say the most defamatory, I can say the most BS things about this person to a person I don't know, by the way, who made a tweet pretty much calling me out, by the way, but we're not gonna talk about that today. So I'm saying all these negative and defamatory things, calling this person a name in the book that's like gonna get me demonetized by YouTube, but as long as I don't say it on Twitter or Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram, I'm fine. Does that make any sense to anyone? Please try to contradict that. She said private messages. Like that made that any better, because the way she worded it was like, well, I didn't say it in public, so I'm good. And this is a little bit out of order, and this was actually kind of before the last clip I just talked about, but this just kind of shows how gross and just narcissistic Gabby is in her mindset, where she really wants to disprove Jessi so bad. And remember, Gabby edited this 3-hour phone call clip. This wasn't Jessi's clip. I pulled this from Gabby's clip. So if she tries to go around again and say, oh, I didn't mean it like that. No. You edited it like that. So that's on you. But I'm not really gonna preface pretty much what Gabby said, because she kind of wrote it out and then said it. And she put some weird ass edits, which again, the fact that you have time to edit a 3-hour plus phone call video kind of just shows how narcissistic you are. So here's the clip for you. I'm not gonna say anything else. Here you go.
I'm disgusted and enraged that you let him tell you his side the night he raped me, and then when you hear me sobbing and telling you to please change the subject, you say irrelevant and unhelpful shit like I thought you knew. I don't try to hide it. That was my apology. She's talking about on that phone call. I've never read this.
Gabbie Hanna is convinced, or said she was convinced, that Jessi needed an excuse to get upset. And that Gabby was convinced right there and then. Well, not right there and then, when she was editing this video now. She was convinced that this was an act. Gabbie Hanna, you are a disgusting person. I'm sorry. Like, oh, wait, no, I'm not sorry. Gabby, you're a disgusting person. Period. End of story. The fact that you really are trying to invalidate someone's trauma to make yourself right is so insane to me. And what makes this sad is Gabby has fans that think this way because of Gabbie Hanna. When we try to hold somebody accountable, in this case, Gabbie Hanna, but Gabbie Hanna's convinced some of her fans still that she's the victim. Jessi's the one that's attacking her. But throughout this whole phone call, by the way, Gabby edited the phone call. This wasn't Jessi's video. This was Gabby's 3-hour, like, I don't know, slam dunk moment that really wasn't a slam dunk moment. It made her look worse. Gabby's the one that's blackmailing Jessi. She's the one that's like, if you don't take the videos down about me, I'm gonna release all this. Last time I checked, blackmailing is illegal. Now, I'm not saying Gabbie Hanna blackmailed Jessi Smiles into writing a BS statement saying Gabbie Hanna did no wrong, which is what Gabby wanted. Gabbie Hanna wanted no fault in anything. That's what she really wanted from Jessi. What she wanted from Jessi Smiles was a statement pretty much saying Gabbie Hanna did no wrong. That is what Gabbie Hanna wanted. And when she didn't get it, she threw a fit. That's why we're here today. And you want to know something gross? Now, it's hard to figure out, the metadata of when this was recorded, but this was uploaded on the same day. And before I get into it, I did not catch this. I watched Swoops Documentary on Gabbie Hanna a couple weeks ago, and she pointed this out. So, I'm not gonna say anything. Swoop will explain it more better than I ever could. So, here's Swoop catching something that is honestly probably the most insane part to me.
And the most intense part, which I haven't heard anyone talk about or connect the dots here, is that the podcast Gabbie posted where she screams calling Jessi a narcissistic abuser.
You are narcissistic abuser.
Was posted the same day as the phone call.
And then in that video, we're talking about Jessi Smiles now. She says she doesn't regret what she did because she had to speak her truth.
I shit you not. Jessi notes that the day of the call was June 22nd, 2020. And when you look at the hour-long podcast that Gabbie posted, it was posted on June 22nd, 2020.
That's pretty much all I have to say about that 3-hour phone call. I listened to it, so if some of y'all didn't, you're welcome. Pretty much, Gabbie talked over Jessi a lot. Gabbie kept changing her story during the phone call, which was the craziest part to me. Like, she couldn't keep her story straight. And pretty much, Jessi had pretty much all the evidence to back her up. Gabbie was like, oh, well, you might have changed it, or this might have changed, or that might have changed. Like, she really was trying to come up with any excuse when Jessi asked her to give her the context that she's talking about. Gabbie couldn't provide it. So, you still don't believe Jessi after all of that. I still don't know why you're here, but thanks for the view time. Anyway, the reason why this video has come up so late is because I've already talked about it in the beginning. During me listening to like the tail end of the 3-hour phone call video, Jessi Smiles finally posted. This wasn't a surprise. She tweeted that she was going to make a video a couple days ago, but I don't think any of us were prepared for what she put out. And what she put out was a video titled Gabbie Hanna Will Never Stop. And I think that's probably the most appropriate title because even after this video that Jessi put out, I'm pretty sure Gabbie Hanna is not gonna shut up. If you follow me on Twitter, I did like a live reaction type of thing, which is something I normally don't do because I never see these videos as soon as they come out. I'm always either at work or I'm out with friends or things like that. So the fact that I was able to really just sit down as it happened, it really was like more so raw emotions, but I've more so calmed down now. I'm actually gonna go back to my own Twitter and I'm just gonna like read off some tweets, which I will count as notes apparently, maybe. I won't go over everything. Please go to Jessi Smiles' video if you want full context of everything. But I just wanna point out some things here and there. So the first thing that really just made me stop and drop my jaw was there's a YouTuber, Dent. And apparently her and Gabbie have had beef in the past, whatever you want to call it, and Dent is Jessi Smiles' friend. Now, a couple years ago, and I didn't know about this until the video, and it's the most insane thing ever, there was a false accusation that Dent hurt somebody. And when I say hurt somebody, I really mean SA'd somebody. And through this one tweet, remember, Gabbie and Dent have had beef. So, Gabbie Hanna fans latched onto this false accusation and spread it like wildfire to the point where people were contacting Dent's, I guess, old job and tried to get her fired. Do you think Gabbie Hanna at any point stopped her fans? Don't worry, I'll wait for your answer. I'm pretty sure you're gonna figure this out very, very quickly. No, of course not. Gabbie Hanna went on her Patreon and was just like, I see the accusations going on. She never said, hey, you guys, I think you guys should stop spreading this information because it's false. So if somebody comes in my comments and is like, Gabbie Hanna does not enable her fans, right there and then, she could have stopped her fans right there and said, guys, stop. On her Patreon, by the way, that people paid for. I've already referenced this already. I did mention the Buzzfeed article. Jessi says the same thing. I responded and made that Twitter thread because she mentioned me in the Buzzfeed article. Like, I've already said it before. You can deny talking about someone, and like nobody will be angry at you for being like, I don't want to talk about this person. This isn't my place to talk about it. I don't want to talk about this situation anymore. You can say all those things and you will look better in the situation instead of just saying, well, I apologized to her, but like, where's my apology? Please. And I'm not trying to bring up anybody else in this video. I just want to keep it straight on Jessi's video because she really brought the receipts. She really brought the house down. This was her slam dunk moment. This, Gabbie cannot refute. This, I want to say it's kind of like an end game because Jessi said, I'm not talking about Gabbie Hanna on this channel anymore, which I believe her for that part because at this point, what more can Gabbie Hanna say? What more can Gabbie Hanna do? I truly believe in my heart that Gabbie Hanna's out of moves. She tried to have her slam dunk moment with that 3-hour phone call that she edited, even though she cried about how Jessi edited her video. Gabbie had her slam dunk moment, tried to, it failed. Jessi released this whole video and she gave context. Gabbie Hanna does not give context. Gabbie Hanna pretty much takes things out of context to make herself sound good. Her fans believe it. Her fans are going to all these other people and saying, ha, Gabbie proved you wrong and here's why. And then those people, like, again, this, like, the Escape the Night crew and, like, cast members, all are conjoined in one saying, Gabbie's lying. We are telling the truth. And if you are still a fan after all these people with receipts in context, if you're still a fan of Gabbie, more power to you, honestly. I have nothing else to say to y'all for real if you made it this far. And I wouldn't be surprised if Gabbie's watching this video because she, actually, no, I take that back. Because she even says to Jessi, by the way, I'm referencing the phone call, she said, Jessi, I didn't watch your video. Wait, so you didn't watch her video, but you're making a response to her video, even though you didn't watch her video. I don't know what to say about that part, but okay. Jessi said this in her video, and this is how scary Gabbie Hanna is. So, there is an ex-boyfriend of Jessi or whatever, and apparently Gabbie found him and they were talking about Jessi, and apparently he wanted to do relations with Gabbie, and Gabbie Hanna said to Jessi about her ex, if I wanted to, I could have. Do people not, do Gabbie fans not realize how gross that is? To say to someone about their ex and use it as leverage against them or something, if I wanted to do him, I could have. What? Gabbie. No. Okay. Okay. This isn't the first time Gabbie has tried to use a person against Jessi. If you remember talking earlier about how there's a reason why all of us go to Gabbie and not anybody else. Alex James was brought up, and if you don't know who Alex James is, he was an ex-Viner just like Gabbie and Jessi. Alex took accountability. I want to make that perfectly clear. Alex James apologized to Jessi, admitted that the things that happened. He said, yes, I had contact with the person that hurt you, and I'm sorry about that. And Jessi says that apparently he still apologizes for it, which, again, we're not coming after him because guess what? He took responsibility for what he did. He said, yes, I had contact with this person. Yes, I was friendly with this person, and all these things. Gabbie Hanna did not do that. So if anybody's like, well, how come people are only going after Gabbie? Because Gabbie is the only one that's trying to be like, well, it didn't happen like that. Everybody else has said, yes, I had contact with this person. I'm sorry, Jessi. I hope we can move on. Gabbie refuses to do that. If she would have done that, we would not been here right now, actually. I pretty much kind of not summarized Jessi's video, but I kind of hit like the big points that like really spoke to me. But there was this one part, and I was just like, wow. But I want to put a disclaimer here. This is coming from the point of view of the person that hurt Jessi, okay? So I will play this clip, and this is a clip where a fan reached out to the person that hurt Jessi and tried to find out what the blackmail Gabbie was talking about was or something like that. So I'm gonna play that clip for you right now, and here you go.
She reached out to Curtis to ask him what the blackmail was. Curtis Lepore is a liar. Gabbie Hanna is a liar, but Curtis Lepore is a fucking liar. So when I was presented and told like, oh, Curtis answered and said what the blackmail was, I told this person, I don't want to know. I don't want to see the fucking words he types on a screen. Like, I don't even know how to describe how much I fucking hate that man. But after about, I think it was like 2 weeks, I guess my curiosity got the best of me. And I was like, what was the blackmail? Because I know Gabbie's not being honest with me. I know Curtis is not honest. Something in my gut just wanted to know, I guess. And I'm going to put the messages up on the screen right now. This is between Curtis and the person who was messaging him. And Curtis says that Gabbie reached out to him and told him that she was sorry for what I put him through. He asked her to defend him publicly, which she also admits. And she said no. I don't know who to believe, but I know both of them are fucked up. And I know that regardless of what Gabbie thought she was doing in that phone call, what she was really doing is sympathizing with Curtis. That's why she wanted to hear his side. That is why she's still, when she's talking about, oh, there was a discrepancy, she's talking about his story. She sympathizes and believes his story after she was my best friend. What level of fucked up do you have to be to do that? Hide it. Blame it on me. And then till this day, call me your abuser.
Now, I did put a disclaimer. This is coming from the person that hurt Jessi. Even Jessi herself said, well, he's a liar. But if this is true, everything we've been saying about this situation and Gabbie is what it is. Gabbie's an apologist. If that's true, and Gabbie apologized to the person that hurt Jessi and gave him sympathy, apologist. I don't know what more I can say about that clip alone, but that gave me a sinking feeling. It was just kind of like, it was just something about that made me feel icky. Can't put my finger on it, can't really pin it down, but I just felt icky, like extremely. So, again, I will link Jessi Smiles' full video down below. I advise you to finish it because something that irritates me, especially about videos like this, is like the stans will watch like 5 minutes of the video and then try to discredit people like Jessi. Please watch the full video. And if you need to, watch Jessi's first video about Gabbie. And like I've always said, I give you the information that I feel will help you come to your own conclusion. I usually say that. But I'm sorry. I gotta take this one. Personally, to me, with all the evidence and information that I've seen, Gabby is a liar, and she's an apologist. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Alright, that was a long video, but I feel like I covered everything without really, like, taking away from Jessi's story, because, again, it's not my story to tell. Please go watch her video. But I think I've said enough to really be like, this is how I feel about everything. And from what I've seen, I don't know what's gonna happen to Gabby, honestly. She hasn't posted a video in a couple days from her series, so don't know what's going on with that. But what do y'all think? Like, I try to leave the comments open for discussion, especially with videos like this. What do y'all think? Did you watch Jessi's video? How do you feel about it? Does YouTube need to step in, which I think is the next step? Because with Gabby's series, she's really hurt a lot of people. And it's really gone past harassment and bullying. I don't know what this would qualify as. But it does call for a termination of account. Now, will YouTube do anything? Probably not. Would they suspend Gabby? Maybe. But we're not YouTube. We can only go by what we see. And we've seen a lot. So that's my conclusion. But yours is up to you. Once again, it is Malcolm. That's me. Subscription button up here. 2 other videos over there for your own free time. Without further ado, I really, truly wish you well. I wish you good health. And if you're a survivor, it is not your fault. I'll keep you in my good hopes, and I will see you all again next time.